Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a new episode of Chatting with Lady Scene. Hello, Mum, how are you?
Hello, honey. I'm very well, but really rather fagged out. How are you?
I'm fine, I'm just still tired from the weekend, to be
Yes,
honest.
so am I, quite frankly. What an exhausting week it was.
Mm.
And yesterday was not much better either, with that camera crew here filming downstairs, and everything went well. But it's just exhausting having people here from early in the morning till late at night.
Actually, bring that point up. A lot of people ask us why we use this room quite a lot. Is
Oh,
because we can't use every room every day because we have people using them.
yes,
and
yes.
and noise because we don't want to pick up noise, but also with restrictions at the moment, you can't be around the filming crew or anything around them, so you have to keep your space.
That's right. That's right. So,
But this is one
yeah,
of the best rooms in the house anyway,
I
so
love this room. I just love this room, the
definitely.
family drawing room.
Mm.
Well, first, before we start, I would like to thank Teresa Prater, who makes handmade soaps, the most deliciously scented handmade soaps. And she has sent me a selection of soaps, which are absolutely to die for. They're so deliciously scented. Honey, can you put a picture of
I
them
shall.
and her details on at the end?
Yes.
Or interspersed, however you do
Yes.
it.
I know she's got an Instagram page and there's her little card there, so we can put that in the picture as well.
As well as, yeah, yeah.
And we'll put up her Instagram for her.
Absolutely. I mean, the scent is just to die for. So delicious. Okay, so,
Do you want to talk about a bit of the jungle? Have you watched it yet, or has that not come up?
oh, actually, it
You
was
want to talk? You want?
somebody asked the question. More than one person has asked the question. Okay.
It says, I loved you in the jungle, and I thought Ant and Dec were right about you being marvelous. You were the best thing ever to appear on I'm a Celebrity. Get me out of here. If you've been looking at the new series, what do you think about it being located in Wales rather than Australia's forests, rainforests?
I think it really works very well. I mean, I looked at it yesterday. I did serious catch
You
up.
looked at the one
I
yesterday.
looked at everything.
No, I liked yesterday's episode.
I looked at it last night, but I had to do all of the catching up yesterday. And I did all of the catching up yesterday. So I'm completely up to speed with it. I think it really works very well. I think it's actually in a funny sort of way now more British than it was when it was in the jungle.
Oh yes, even the guy that they go and get the food from, it's totally Welsh.
Yes, 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 yes.
I think a lot of us were thinking that the Australian dude might have been brought over to do that part, but no, completely changed that as well.
Well, I don't think there's necessarily travel between here and Australia. I think that might be a problem as well. But no, I think it works very well. I love the setting. I'm glad I'm not doing it, I've got to say, because I suspect it's really rather chilly. Uh, I'm sure it's heated. I'm sure they have heating of some description. I don't think that they can have absolutely no heating, but maybe they really do only have the campfire.
Yes, but like you say, they might have hidden vests underneath because you can get these warm
Oh,
vests.
thermal underwear they'd
No,
have.
no, no, like literally like electric, you power them up and it keeps you warm throughout the day. So that
Take
could be
take it from me, my dear. I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here. He's not going to do anything of that description with their people. They believe in treating everybody mean.
yes, I
You
get
know.
that.
I mean, their celebrities are one stage away from being shocked by electric shocks at all times. Take it from me. It is a program that is beautifully calibrated to torment.
Oh, I'm sorry, they look very well dressed anyway.
Oh, yeah. There,
Like,
yeah.
layers on layers.
Yes, yes. But it doesn't alter the fact it's cold. Just
Like we
imagine.
were saying, it's not really that cold at the moment, actually. I think they're quite lucky because it could be a lot worse.
It's true. That
Like,
is true.
to be honest, like, I found it very warm today, even though it started getting a bit poorly in the afternoon, but it's still
Yes.
really nice.
Yes,
It's not
it's true.
cold.
It's true.
So they are maybe a tiny bit lucky.
Yes, yes.
So what do you think about the people, the cast this year?
Well, so far they're getting along very well.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to be all very pleasant and agreeable. Of course, we got on very well for the first 2 days as well.
Well, I was just about to say, wait until they start missing out trials, not having food and then they split them into 5 and 5, and then the tension starts.
Well, of course, with us it started pretty early because Duncan and Tony and Chris decided that I was going to win, and they tried to knock me out of the running. And when Chris realised it wasn't going to be easy to get me out of the running, he jumped ship and decided he would protect me against Tony and Duncan. But it doesn't alter the fact that for the rest of the time, Duncan and Tony were absolutely beastly to me. And what I found interesting, actually, was that Shane Ritchie, who's evidently quite a well-known TV and maybe whatever star, I think he was in one of the soaps. I don't remember which one, EastEnders or whatever. I mean, as you know, I never see any of them.
I think you did say EastEnders at the beginning.
He's EastEnders.
I think so, because the other one's Coronation Street, and I don't remember him saying that one.
Yeah, okay, so EastEnders. Well, he was married to Colleen Nolan, who I know very vaguely because we've done Loose Women together, and she is absolutely lovely. I think they're divorced.
Yes, I think that he was explaining that last night on the episode.
Was he? I didn't see that then. I saw it, but I didn't.
Is this the older gentleman?
Yes.
That went go-karting with Tom Cruise?
Yes.
Yes, he didn't explain everything, but he said like he had a tough time.
Oh, yes,
like
yes.
I can't remember exactly.
Very unpleasant divorce, he said.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Something like that.
He didn't bring up her name,
No.
fortunately. However, he did bring up my name in the press interviews before, and said, which I thought was extraordinary, he said that he was hesitant to go into the camp because he's a friend of Tony Hadley. And Tony Hadley had such a horrendous time with me, except I never once attacked Tony Hadley. Tony Hadley attacked me every single time. How was Tony Hadley having a horrendous time with me when he was attacking me? Was his horrendous time based upon the fact that I defended myself ably and that I'm more articulate, intelligent and well-educated and sophisticated than he is, and so wiped the floor with him every single time he attacked me? I mean, I actually thought this guy's absolutely unbelievable. I mean, you know, he clearly can't have seen the programme, and if he did, he clearly has a very skewed view of things. So that, I have to say, coloured my opinion of him, but I'm not going to allow it to colour my opinion of him any further. The one I think is really already in the position to be a favourite or a winner is that guy Jordan North.
Is he the DJ?
He's the DJ who vomited at the very
yeah.
beginning.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I'm afraid of heights as well, and I can feel his pain on that. Like, his legs must have started shaking, and like the pressure and everything, and then it just comes out.
And then the following day he doesn't like snakes, and they bury him in a pit.
I know.
And I kept on laughing, really, every time he was...
He's a funny one for the show.
And he articulates everything and just brings it all out and wears his heart on his sleeve. But he does it. And he admits to being a coward. Yeah. But then he's brave. I think he's very endearing.
Yesterday he did the fermented catfish soup, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, he's going to do it. It's going to come out. It's going to come out. And no, he actually did it really well. I was like, no.
Yeah, but the the when he was in the with the snakes,
Yes.
when he's
Viper
saying
Dungeon was
the
yeah.
vipers, and he's oh, happy place, oh, happy place, happy place, because his brother who's in the army had told him, face your fears and just put yourself in a happy place. And so he's saying happy place. I thought, oh, he was so sweet, I could have just grabbed him and cuddled him. No, I'm enjoying it thoroughly, I've got to say.
It's fun to watch because it's different, I think,
Yes.
and it changes from the original.
Also, towards the end of the Australian experience, the tests kept on getting so much harder.
Well, it will.
You know?
It should.
Well, I mean, I don't know where they're going to be able in Wales to build 100-foot towers that
Oh, don't worry.
you think they'll be able
They'll
to.
find something.
Yeah,
They will find, like, maybe a very tall building that they can use or something like that.
yeah.
Because they have to do it. They have to progressively make it harder.
Yes. Well,
Because otherwise it's not going to be as fun. Like, going in... first, don't get me wrong, the second... Was it? Yeah, no, that would have been the second one, the Viper. I would not have done that. I'm not going in no cage, no box of snakes, I'm telling you that.
Yeah, it was something else. So anyway, I'm enjoying it thoroughly. And, I mean, I wanted to look at it. I mean, I have to look at it, actually, it's got to be said, because I'm going to be on their show later on in the week.
Okay.
So I have to know what's going on.
A little bit of what's going on.
Otherwise, I would be completely unprofessional. And so I have to look at it no matter what. But I actually was really enjoying
Me
it.
too.
You too?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Okay, honey. Next question.
Yeah, let's move on. So for today, our next question is Robin Familia. Please watch season 4 of The Crown. I have always been a monarchist, but after watching season 4, it seems like the royals are spoilt, lazy, and a cruel family. I would like to hear your opinion.
Well, I have not watched season 4 of The Crown yet. I have looked at snippets because I had to be commenting on stuff. So I looked at specifically what I needed to comment upon. But I have not looked at season 4 of The Crown yet, which I will be doing later on in the week. I will have to do a marathon. I will be looking at it. I know there are grave concerns about it. I know that it is very much fiction rather than fact, which of course is why I stopped looking at it at the end of the second series. But since I'm now obliged to look at it, I will look at it. I would say that I gather that the royal family do come out of it very discreditably, but so does everybody else. I mean, in season 1 and season 2, the one person who came out of it creditably was the Queen. But I gather that by now this has been completely sunken. I have grave reservations about docudrama, where its creator, namely Peter Morgan, claims that he conflates situations for the theatrical narrative, but that he tries to stick as closely as possible to the truth, and then just brazenly lies. I mean, does Peter Morgan think that truth is a 3-letter word beginning with L and ending with E? And I do gather that the royal family comes out of it very, very badly. I would say most members of the royal family, I know to my certain knowledge, are not lazy. Yes, royals are often a little bit pampered and removed from everyday living, and they can be spoilt, and they are certainly, as I have made clear on many an occasion over the decades, not people I would want, this royal family, I should say, as opposed to other royal families, I would not want to be close friends with any one member of them because they are hemmed in by all sorts of protocols and artificialities which I would find discomforting in terms of a personal friendship. But that doesn't mean that they are spoiled, and that certainly doesn't mean that they are cruel. There is no evidence of them being cruel. And I gather that there are criticisms raised about the fact that they like blood sports. Well, anybody who's not a vegetarian has to eat meat or game that was killed. I mean, nobody says that the butcher or the worker in the abattoir is a sadist. Why would they decide that the royal family are sadistic because they shoot birds? I mean, this is a shooting estate and it's all very cleanly done. You aim to shoot to kill.
And they've got seasons now, so they can repopulate.
That's right. I will look at it and I will give my opinion, and I will give my opinion truthfully and fairly. I will admit I have become, over the years, once I started to write about the royal family, and once I started to examine their way of life in a far more incisive way than I had done when I just mixed socially, because then you just take people for granted. But once I started to look into things, I realized that they actually perform a very valuable function, and sometimes at great cost to themselves. There are definitely privileges, but there are definitely downsides. So do you think I've covered that for the moment?
Yeah, I mean, you can't say much more if you haven't seen it, right?
Well, I do know that a lot of it is inaccurate. Yes, I will have pen to paper and I will make my notes as it goes along. And for those of you who keep on asking about me finishing off Funding Freedom and Finding Freebies, I will do another, at least one more, okay? It's just that so much has been going on. It's sort of difficult to sandwich in just right now, but I will be doing it fairly shortly, okay? Thank you very much for that.
Totally forgot about that book, to be honest. Right. So, really, I forgot about that. But
so much has gone on since then.
Yeah.
And yes, sorry.
No, that's fine. All right, so we're going to move on to our next question. It's from Colin McCollum. Was the story of Michael Shea portrayed as it happened in The Crown in regards to the press leaked to the papers on the Queen's opinion with Margaret Thatcher?
Well, I have not seen it yet. I have not seen it yet, but I have read enough about what was portrayed. I would prefer not to comment now about something I haven't seen, but I will speak about what I do know to have been the case. Michael Shea was the Queen's press secretary. He was also very liberal and did not approve of Margaret Thatcher's politics. Most of the Commonwealth countries wanted to impose sanctions against South Africa, and Margaret Thatcher, for political reasons, did not regard that as the right course of action. And Michael Shea leaked a story to the newspapers, effectively saying that the Queen and Margaret Thatcher were at loggerheads because the Queen was pro-Commonwealth and Margaret Thatcher was anti-Commonwealth. That I know to be a fact. So, how it is addressed in the Crown is something I do not know, but I would imagine that they, well, I prefer not to imagine, quite frankly. I just look at it and see what they say. But that's what really happens. So if you've seen The Crown and you've seen the part that Michael Shea played in The Crown and see how he was portrayed, and if that portrayal differs in any way, shape, or form with what I have just said, the portrayal is incorrect. As simple as that. The beauty of facts is they do not change according to fashion. You know, if somebody did something at a certain time, they did it, full stop. And 20 years or 30 years or 50 years or even 200 years later, no matter how you dress it up, if they did X, they didn't do Y.
So for our next question today is from Phyllis Bram. I do believe that your reputation will only grow in the future, long after I have ceased to be a beautiful spinster. The veracity of your biographies, compared to the trash written by the rest, stands out even now. But I think far more credit will come your way down the line. You will be another John Pope-Hennessy or Lytton Strachey. I don't know who those are.
Well, they're both very, very eminent writers.
Okay.
What can I say? Mrs. Biram, thank you very much. Thank you. It would be very nice if one day my merit were not denigrated to the extent it has often been so far. My editor at St. Martin's Press, Hope Dellen, used to say, I just don't understand why people don't give you credit for being as good a writer as you are. And I used to say to her, well, it's because I'm not an American writer. What happens in England washes up on American shores. And the fact of the matter is that the Royal Rat Pack can't stand me because I trump them at every turn. And I think it's as simple as that, you know. And I think that was a part of it. And the rest of it is that I sued all of the newspaper companies who cover the 5 largest newspaper companies in the country who cover all the royal events and royal writers, royal etc., etc. And they, of course, have their stringers and they have their correspondence. And they also never forgive you for having sued them, especially when you sued them successfully, even though they were wronging you, you know. So I think for all of those reasons, I'm used to it. I don't say I like it because I don't. But I'm used to it. And does it bother me? Not particularly. It disappoints me when somebody who I thought was a reputable writer will cull from my material and act as if they had created it themselves. Shades of Sally Bedell Smith, who pinched stuff that I was given about Dodi Fayed from my book, didn't acknowledge it and acted as if it was her own. Or Robert Lacey, who I have always got along with perfectly agreeably socially, who in his book has written a tissue of lies about me and about my circumstances, and obviously done it quite deliberately. But because he has some consideration for his reputation as a writer, and he couldn't get around the fact that I'm the one who broke all of the Diana stories, he sort of grudgingly gives credit where it's due, then proceeds to deliberately lie about me and about my circumstances in the most discreditable manner possible. And so what can I tell you? You live with it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There's an old expression, a prophet is never without praise save in his own country. It's an old expression. And I think to an extent it applies in this instance, because even though I'm not a prophetess, the fact of the matter is that I am the one who has systematically broken everything of any note or merit about Diana and Harry and Meghan. And it sticks in their craw, you know, and then they act as if, so it sticks in their craw. What can I say? You know, it will be very nice if what Mrs. Biram says turns out to be true down the line.
Mm.
I won't be here to enjoy it. And more than that, I can't say. Maybe you and your children will be here to enjoy it. But I certainly won't be here to enjoy it. And I learned a long time ago that life isn't fair. And, you know, that it isn't fair and there's no point in expecting it to be fair. You need to be fair. But don't expect life to be fair, because it's not. And the other thing I've learned in life is that there's no bigger hypocrite than an arch hypocrite, which most of the people in the Royal Rat Pack are. So on that note, I will say, Mrs. Biram, thank you very much. And next question, honey.
Yes, of course.
Unless you want to add to this.
No, I thought that was great.
Okay.
Yes, so for our next question today is from Selena Goring.
Goring.
Yeah.
I love it.
Lady C, I have a question. I am a Canadian and know some of the rules, but not all. I always found it tacky if you're a bride wearing a tiara if you are not from a high society family with crown connections. If you are not from a noble family, is it tacky to wear a tiara?
Oh,
And I
Mrs.
It's a good question, actually.
It is a good question, isn't it? And it is from a Goring. So we have to relish her. Oh, Mrs. Goring. Oh, very interesting question. I would say that I take a rather liberal view of things. I know an awful lot of brides in America and Canada wear tiaras. You know, they have bridal tiaras. There's a big trade in bridal tiaras. And I think it's sweet. And if they want to wear them, I think they should be allowed to wear them. The old custom used to be that single women without royal connections never wore tiaras. So you would see brides going up the aisle with their tiaras covered with a band of flowers, or then the veil just pulled over it so that the tiara wasn't obvious. Then after they were married, put back. I have lived to see all sorts of things happen, even in circles that I would rarely have thought knew better. For instance, brides wearing strapless dresses. I was brought up in a world where no woman ever went into a church in a strapless dress. Nowadays, brides sail up the aisle in strapless dresses. So it's not only tiaras, it's strapless dresses. I don't think it's tacky. I think it's rather sweet. If a bride wants to be princess for the day, and I mean, most women, their greatest event, so to speak, their greatest day of stardom is going to be their wedding day. And I think if they want to wear tiaras, good luck to them. Wear them. Of course, if you don't have family tiaras, you have to buy tiaras. And I think some of the tiaras that are for sale for brides are really rather sweet. And, we see them with some of the people at some of the balls, where they wear bought tiaras that are without any provenance whatsoever. And you can always tell, can't you?
Yeah, of course.
Well,
But it looks nice and it goes with the show, I think. So.
Yeah, exactly. So it's good for them. It's good for everybody. I don't mind. And also, people can, though, very quickly tell the difference between a good tiara and a tiara that's just been bought.
Yes.
They can't they?
You can tell straight away.
So I look forward to lending my daughters-in-law to be tiaras for their wedding day, unless, of course, they have family tiaras, in which case, otherwise, they can do something borrowed from mummy-in-law. Oh. So I hope that answers the question. I think go for it.
Yeah.
If you want to wear a tiara, it's not tacky, really. I don't think I think it's
also they wear like brooches sometimes, just on one side, or
hair ornaments.
Yeah,
that's
sort of
fine.
stuff. So it's not always just a tiara. Something. It's always something different. And like you say, it's their day. I think they should be allowed.
Well, when I was young, when I was your age, the fashion was for hair ornaments.
Yes.
And also flowers in your hair.
Yes.
So people would wear flowers in their hair. I mean, usually in the back, and hair ornaments in the back, and those were really rather dashing as well. So it's just the style, and I think if it's done decorously, why not?
Again, it's their day. I think they should be allowed to go for it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, we have a whole load of very interesting questions that we have to address in terms of the crown, in terms of funding freedom and finding freebies, in terms of William and Catherine, in terms of what's going on with the Sussexes, etc., etc. But do please keep the questions coming in, because sometimes a new question encapsulates 3 or 4 old questions perfectly, and it's really good if that happens. But thank you very much.
Well, thank you, everybody, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thank you very much, and goodbye.